Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. Well, the season is over, and we can take deep breaths today. Every year, we've kind of just had to say next year is a clean slate and better luck next year. And yet, there hasn't seemed to be any avenue of winning or any change in the way they go about doing anything. But it's going to be different this time. Because now the Giants ownership has made the decision that should have been made a long time ago. But they've finally come to grips. The Giants ownership group has moved the organization on from trying to get stuff done to hopefully actually getting it done. Finally, we're at the end of an era that's been going on for way too long. The Giants, under Farhan Zaidi's tenure, were really good for rhetorical purposes. I'm saying this. They were really good at one thing, and that was trying to be contenders. They tried to sign free agents. They tried to sign Judge. They tried to sign Ohtani. They tried midway through the season at the trade deadline to improve their roster, whatever that means, and the more things went on that way, the more it really became just rhetoric. But now, Farhan Zaidi is finally out. And Buster Posey, he's become the new president of baseball operations. Now, what does that mean? We're going to get to that in a little bit. But first, I think we just got to realize that the Giants needed to make this change a long time ago. But, they kept hanging on to just a totally false hope about rebuilding and maybe a younger, more athletic generation of talent. And Zaidi's whole thing was analytics. I think you have to understand here, he worked for Billy Beane previously. And Billy Beane is still in a position with the A's today. But here's the point. Let's just ask this for reference. Why isn't he making the A's win today if all of his strategies worked in the early part of this new century? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Because a competitive strategy is only as good as the competitive advantage it gives. Once you have a new way of doing baseball, and every other team finds out about it, and they come to grips with it, then it's no longer a competitive advantage. It's what every team has to do to stay afloat. The issue there is not with the effectiveness of the whole analytics strategy that's talked about in Moneyball. It's the fact that now that is essentially the level playing field for every team. Now, why am I bringing this up? It's because that was just so similar with Farhan Zaidi, and the structure he built in the organization, the whole approach they took in general, it's not that their idea in itself is a complete loser. It's that it just can't be proven that that's better than what the majority of the other 29 teams have. Every team that loses out in the offseason, every team that can't sign free agents is going to have something, unless they completely claim rebuilding, which they might. And then rebuilding really is, sometimes it's genuine, sometimes it's to hold fans off. It's whatever's going on behind the scenes. Unless a team is completely able to claim rebuilding, they're going to have some kind of organizational strategy to make a lot come out of a little. And who could possibly believe that that was better than anyone else for the Giants? And yet it kept everyone, their owners, their fans, everybody, just, they were under this facade for so long. But now the truth came out. They've finally made the changes they needed to make. Now, I think we need to get to, I think it's kind of surprising, honestly, Buster Posey. It wasn't so surprising, even though he has part ownership in the organization, that he was being considered for the manager, the on-field manager position last year. But now he actually occupies the role of president of baseball operations. And I think there are a couple questions we have to ask here. Number one, is Posey really going to permanently have this position, and will he really be the decision maker here? I mean, it's not, I don't think we just take it for granted that Posey is going to be making all of the major decisions. I mean, we do know fans are at the point right now where they needed to see a change, and whether this is just like something to get their attention once again, and maybe even their attendance, to say the least. And if it's going to be other members of the front office that are just really running the show, to that I would have to say right now, we don't know. And we're not going to know until a while later. And secondly, is this, can Posey do the job of an executive? Now, this question, I don't know what the reaction here is going to be, because I'm pretty sure there are some of you who are going to be watching this and you're like, you can't say that. Like you just can't say that. Can't even bring up any slight objection to Posey as, well, anything. And I understand that's why fans would say this, because Posey, he's just been the face of the franchise and definitely a great ball player. But, you know, we need to understand what we're really talking about here. Is that the same thing as being an executive building a roster? No, it's not the same thing. Just because you were a big league superstar, a big league Hall of Famer. So it is very legitimate to ask if is Posey really the guy for this. I think right off the bat, I gotta say, anything's better than the previous administration with Farhan Zaidi just running this and in some weird state of equilibrium where you try so hard to get stuff done and don't, and you know, keep thinking that somehow prospects are gonna completely turn over the talent level on the roster in the future. That, we're done with that. That is that. Whatever we can say about anything else, it's a good day for us today, because we're done with what we were in before, and it was horrible, and it's just not how you do it. So bring Buster in if those are my two options. We'll take him any day over Farhan Zaidi. But like can he be an executive it's another question that just really you know, I think it demands that we wait and see. But I think the one thing I can leave us with, and this, if we were dealing with a team that, you know, they actually knew how to sign free agents, they knew how to trade for players, they knew how to do anything, this would probably just sound foolish, or maybe it wouldn't, I don't know. Posey is a link to the Giants' golden age of the last decade. He's a link to 2010, 2012, and 2014 because he was on the team then. Maybe just from a philosophical perspective, and maybe it only applies to the Giants' current situation. That could just be what we need more than ever. I can at least say, at the very least, that Posey will understand what the Giants have to fight for, and he's going to be serious about it. That's when all is said and done. That's what I think I can leave us with. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you haven't. Also, please leave your questions and comments. You know where to do it. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.